Good evening. Welcome to the Agriocast mini series video. And Professor Ruff wants to touch on some important things that we need to hold dear in our lives. Um, I've been in my previous videos or in my previous podcast videos or talking points, I've always stressed value. People don't understand the keyword value, what value is, the importance of value. Value is critical. Value manifests in our everyday lives. It's seen. We might take it for granted and not see it. Just when we interact with each other, like I have friends that I value, I have family members that I value, you know, and I value them differently. Um, One of the things that I've learned to do is to take people how they are because not everybody is the same. You can't treat everybody equal, or you can't hold different people to the same standards. I used to make that mistake growing up. I'll have like a set of standards, and I would try to hold all my friends or acquaintances or people that are in my life according to those same standards. That was just unrealistic because you're gonna be disappointed. But growing up as a human being and as I've made mistakes and reflected on my past experiences and seen some of the things that I didn't do correctly, the things that some of my faults as a human being, um I hold myself accountable when it comes to valuing people. I'm really, really guarded. I've been like that since I've been a child. I'm really, really guarded. I'm somewhat kind of a standoffish person, and I've been working on that over the years. And I'm better. I'm way better. It might manifest here and there, and people might point it out and criticize me for it. I get that, and I try not to fight it because at the end of the day, it's the perception of others about you. It might not be your intent, but it's what other people perceive about you. But one of the things I tend to do um, in my previous or younger years was try to hold people according to my standards, which were pretty much unrealistic. Like I had different friends and different characters with different characters and different behaviors, and you can't just cut people off because they didn't meet certain expectations. You're gonna be alone in this life. I had to learn that the hard way. I had to reflect. I'm like, okay, I always thought the world was just this bullshit, and you know, I've always been on the. You know what? Let me say this. I've always been on the end of the stick where I'm the one finding myself holding relationships, and when I mean relationships, I'm not talking about regular relationship or love relationship like a man and woman relationship. I'm talking about any kind of relationship, whether just regular friends. Like I'm always the one that is always putting in the effort. That's just my nature. Um, People like to attribute it to their zodiac sign. I guess they say Virgos are like that, uh, which is kind of true. I usually don't like to attribute outcomes in my life or what I'm deciding to do or the choices I've made towards zodiac signs. I usually try not to do that, but I cannot ignore the fact that certain things about zodiac signs are true. But however, um, a friend of mine in London, Julian John, one of my day one dudes, very close friend of mine. We don't talk every day, whatever. um he posted something on his Instagram about holding people to unrealistic expectations, um because people are going to disappoint you. It's just what it is. It's just life. um I've seen that in my parents' life. I've seen how my parents have gone to bat for people and put people in front of the family, and those people became something and they didn't even think about us. I've seen that happen to my parents, my mom, and my pops, especially my pops. My pops is someone that is a diehard. When he goes hard for you, he goes hard for you. And I see people shit on him, shit on my. Oof. Like sometimes I want to revenge on my pops, but you know what? That's his life. He's living his own journey, and I've learned from it because it's happened to me on not as the same, not on the magnitude of his own experience, but in my own experience, it's happened to me. And the post my friend put up on Instagram really made a difference, and I responded to him. I'm like, you know what? I'm working on that. You know, um, if I try not to cuss, but you know, I'm just gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real in this video. I'm gonna cuss. I'm gonna swear. I'm gonna use some cuss word. If I fuck with you heavy, I almost expect that you fuck with me on the same level, the same energy. Usually, I tend to just um throw a blind eye to things, but over time, I get resentful, because I feel like, damn, I fuck with you heavy. I bend over backwards for you, and I don't get the same for you. But having grown up into an adult, I reflected. I'm like, you know what? These are not these people's fault. I fuck with them heavy because I chose to. They don't choose to fuck with me on the same level, and that's okay. You just got to be yourself. You got to be yourself. And if I put this amount of energy into our friendship, into our relationship, and I expect you to do the same because I'm authentic, but you don't pretty much put in the same effort or even half of the same effort, it doesn't mean you're not genuine. But I tend to get resentful about that. But I've grown up and I have taken people for who they are. However, that doesn't mean I don't match energies. I'm pretty good at matching energies, man. It depends on my mood and how I'm thinking. Or it depends on so many factors. I don't come here to say that I'm this perfect human being because nobody is perfect. But I'm here to talk about value, the importance of value. People are in your lives for a reason. And what I when my friend made that post, and what I took out from that post is because it was my personal choice to fuck with them on that level to which I fuck with them. Whether it's bending backwards to make sure that they're good. And if they don't give me that same energy, that's fine. I've accepted it. So if I'm messing with somebody, or I'm kicking with somebody, and I'm giving them this level of energy, and they're giving me this level of energy, um, I choose to. But that doesn't mean that I can't revise our dynamics and our friendship and try to meet you where you at, or just cut things off. That's okay too. But the one thing that I'll never do is carry resentment and grudge, which I was doing in my young years. And trust me, to grow as a human being takes a lot of pain. No growth occurs without pain. People just think I'm a bigger person now. No, you're gonna have to swallow a lot of pride, a lot of ego. You're gonna have to take a lot of L's, losses. You're gonna have to be comfortable of being last, or not being considered. It's a lot of things. But anyway, the reason why I'm doing this video was a post or a text message my mother has sent me. She's not the author of that text message, but she sent me this text message on WhatsApp because she knows my personal, what I'm going through personally, where I'm trying to get to, and where I'm at right now. My mother's fully informed of. She's my mother first. First of all, she's my mother first, and she's my friend second, because my mother chose my ass. Even though I'm 40 years old, I'm still a child in her eyes. Anyway, she sent me this post, and you know, she expects that I, at the level I am and at the age I am, I need to um get back to certain responsibilities that I used to be in the past. When I was married before, I didn't have the level of maturity that I have now. And I've grown a lot since then, which was 7 years ago. And I was married for 7 years, and my divorce has been 7 years ago, and I've learned a lot. And these experiences have made me grow, good, bad. And she was pretty much giving me an advice with this text that she sent to me. And it talks about value. And I want to talk about value before I talk about value in relationships. In any, when I mean relationships, I'm talking about, you know, relationships like marriage, boyfriend, girlfriend type relationships. But in your typical relationships, whether it's brother to brother relationships, sister to sister relationships, brother to sister relationships, parents to kids relationships, um, supervisor to direct reports relationships, acquaintances, friendships, people that we meet or we just know in our everyday lives on how we interact with them, right? Value is key. If my level of value is this small, I don't have to treat you bad as a human being. I don't have to like not give you attention or not listen to you. But my investment towards you is not gonna be that much, right? But if I have value, if I feel like you have value towards me or I'm value to you, then my attention or how I invest my time with you, whether my resources or time, will be this big. It depends on the individual you dig. And one of the things that I see that is lacking in any kind of relationship is value. People don't value each other. You know why? Because it's bad faith. People go into relationships, any kind of relationships, with bad faith. What do I mean by bad faith? Because people go in there to expect what they want, what they expect to get, but they don't go into relationships or friendships or acquaintances with what do I have to give. People have to understand that you have to give then before you expect, you know. And for me, I've always, I don't want to sound righteous, but I'm that kind of person that always give. I don't have problem giving, whether it's my time or the little resources that I have. But I also expect, and sometimes my expectations fall short depending on the individual that I'm talking about. I'm talking about in context, and I start holding resentment. And I've grown over the years not to behave like that or to think like that. And when we talk about relationships in marriage, I'm talking about men and women interaction, okay? One on one relationships, man and woman, marriage. The same principles apply. They apply. Again, people go into relationships. The average marriage lasts about 5 years in the United States. 5 freaking years. The average duration of a marriage, 5 years. So I see all these expensive weddings and high concept weddings and 1,000 people in attendance, and it's not just the people in attendance, the kind of people that are in the attendance. People pulling up a Rolls Royce and uh, uh, um, Jaguars and Land Rovers and Discoveries. The parking lot at the venues just like high concept cars, and people are celebrating your union, and then you divorce in 1 year. That sucks, man. That sucks deeply. And this goes to show that people care about the wedding instead of the marriage. Um, you leave while you're doing your wedding. That's just happening in time, in a moment and it comes to pass. Then after that has passed, you're not in a marriage. And most people are not equipped for that. And most people do not value the person that they're supposed to that they're marrying to because it's a short-term gain. Short-term gain, long-term consequences. I want this video to be short, so I'm gonna get to the nitty-gritty. So guys, and this is my um well, this video is gonna go to men and women, whoever care to listen. Um, it's gonna be skewed a little bit because this was an encouraging text my mom sent to me in what I should look for and what I should see and what I should appreciate to make me a wiser man. And I'm gonna read this text. Okay. Uh, let me see. Amadukes, where you at? Okay. And I've seen it on the internet too. I'm not sure if I want to read it straight from my phone or right from the internet. Let me see. All right. So my mother sent me a text, and the title of the text or the post or whatever it is called the value adding wife. You know, I'm looking to remarry again. We'll see. Hopefully next year is my year, but we'll see. I'll leave it in the hands of the good Lord. Inshallah, it will come to pass. And I don't look forward to weddings. I look forward to spending the rest of my life and dealing with the nuances of marriage. That's what I look forward to. Most people look forward to the wedding, the tuxedos and the white gown and the throwing of the bouquet, jumping over the broom and the dancing and the wine and dine and all that stuff. It's all good, and I don't knock people for that. But when that is all gone and you got to come into the nitty gritty of marriage, people don't tend to survive that because number one, value is not there. And I'm gonna read this. I don't know if I should read from my text or I should read from here. This looks really really long from here, but I'm gonna read from my text anyway. Shorter. Let me keep this video short. Value adding wife. VAW. Value adding wife. Many thought that Jacob, and this is coming from the Bible, okay? I usually do not like to use the Bible as a basis for my argument, but most Americans are Christians or default Christians, if you want to say so. I'm gonna just go with this story in the text. Many thought that Jacob loved Rachel because she was beautiful. No, beauty only attracts a man to a woman, but what determines his true love for a woman goes beyond beauty. So all you beautiful women, your beauty only gets you into the door. Men are visual. We like what we see. Oh shit, she's beautiful. Oh, look at nice shape. Oh shoot. But then we still need to know the other side of you, your character. What are your values? Does your values complement my values? What value do you bring to me? How do I bring value to you? These are the things that people need to look, especially inwards, and be true to themselves before they get into any kind of long term relationships or even marriage. And said, no, beauty only attracts a man to a woman, but what determines his true love for a woman goes beyond beauty. Rachel was not just beautiful, she was also industrious par excellence. Rachel was beautiful And she was industrious, which means she works hard. She gets into the trenches to work with her hands, even with her beauty. It's almost describing a diamond in the rough type situation. But from this text, I can imagine how Rachel looks like. That she's this ultimate beauty, but yet an average person. Somebody that you can get down with. I mean, you can relate with. You can talk to her. Okay. Why do we have a lot of beautiful ladies today, yet no husband? This is reality. I see a lot of beautiful women, man. Whether they're baby moms or divorced or widow, even the baby moms with different baby daddies, they are pretty as shit. I know beautiful women, and okay, fine, they made mistake or they made poor judgment, and they have different kids with different father. I'm not knocking on those women. Or even a single woman that is just beautiful, or divorcee, or the one who her husband has passed, or whatever it is. There's a lot of beautiful women, right? And let me just exclude the divorcee because they've been married before, right? Let me exclude the the widows. Okay, let me just concentrate this topic on single women with no kids and single women with kids, whether with one baby father or multiple baby fathers, right? So let's just go from there, right? So it says, why do we have a lot of beautiful ladies today yet no husband? Because beauty without value and virtue is like smoke. Hmm, interesting. What impressed and attracted Jacob to Rachel was her industrialness. That's value. A industrial woman is value. Now, I'm not saying that for you to be industrious, you have to go get a PhD, you know, successfully academically or any 100K. That's not that kind of industrial, industrialness I'm talking about. That industrial lady. And I will read this through the story so you guys can understand what it takes to be an industrial lady. Not to say that the women who are in corporate America are working white collar jobs and are not industrious, but in the context of the story, we will skip all that. The industrial woman that I'm referring to is the woman that is industrious to a man, not industrious to herself. Big difference. Big difference. Okay. All right. So again, let me read this section. So why do we have a lot of beautiful ladies today yet no husband? Because beauty without value and virtue is like smoke. What impressed and attracted Jacob to Rachel was her industrialness, while her brother Rachel and her elder sister Leah, Leah is her elder sister. Take note of the name Leah. Were at home. Rachel single handedly brought her father's flock, could be sheep, goats, whatever, cows, cat, whatever, right? To the well to give them drink. That was where Jacob met her for the first time. No sensible man can resist a woman who is beautiful and industrious. That's the kind of woman I'm looking for. Now, beauty is not like Beyonce beauty I'm talking about or Kelly Rowland beauty. Yeah, I like those kind of beauties too. I like beautiful women. I love beautiful women that smile and they in their femininity. I'm attracted to those kind of women. I put them on my story on my IG stories all the time. And people don't understand why I put that up there. I put that up there for a reason. I don't know these women, but I put that up there for a reason. Maybe whoever goes into my story will see that and try to emulate that behavior and get themselves a husband. Because one in four women are not gonna marry and will die alone. Actually, take that back. Scratch. One in four women will marry only. The rest three women will die alone. So this is where I have problem with women where they don't compete for a man. Or this is like, I don't care. I'm strong, independent. I don't need no man. All right. Wait till you're 60, 70 years old and tell me that bullshit. Okay. Anyway, let me continue with my story. So, what would have made a man work for 7 years for a woman he loved and yet felt like he just worked for 7 days? What will make a man who worked for 7 years for a woman and yet he feels like he worked for 7 days? Value. Value. The answer is value. And this is the problem when I say, when people meet, oh, I'm in love and I love him. You can love somebody, but you don't have value for them. And the love that you have is pretty much infatuation. It's an infatuation love. It's a sexual love, sexual attraction. It's something that is just exciting at the moment. What gets you through the journey of relationships and marriages, especially marriage, is value. And I've always stated that. I've always propagated value. And that's the thing that I missed out in my previous relationship was the value aspect. And I'm not gonna sit here and try to be a victim, like, oh, the women that, whatever, my previous life didn't value me. No, they valued me at some point. But the value, I don't even want to say they loved me at some point, which was tied to conditions, but they didn't really value me. And they can argue that, but that's just my perspective. I'm entitled to my own opinions and perspective. All right. So my man doesn't respect me. It it is because you are not value added woman. My man does not respect me is because you are not a adding woman. Do you realize that Jacob did not pay Leah's bride price? Now Leah is the older sister to Rachel, and he was, I guess, he was married to Rachel. He was messing with her, right? They gave him Leah as bonus because she had no value. This is her family. The family of Leah and Rachel is saying that Leah had no value, which is pretty much 80% or 90% of the women in the dating arena in the whole United States. It's pretty much in the Western world right now because men are complaining, whether it's black men, white men, Chinese men are complaining about the modern day women. The liberalization and sexual freedom and all these BS that is going against natural order. Men are complaining. It looks like it's a black man's thing. No, but it's worse in the black community. I tell you that. It's far worse in the black community. But the problem also exists with white people. White men are just like, fuck it. I'm going to go to the Philippines. White men are going to the Philippines and going to get Asian women. But the truth is, white people are more married than black people. Black people are the bottom, man. And what's missing? What's missing? Ding, 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 ding. Value. Value, folks. And yeah, I was going to do a topic of the lost value system, which I took from a YouTuber that I follow. But I want to do this video authentically because this was a message that my mom sent to me. All right. And let's go here. She had no value. This was why Jacob had no respect for her and her children. Hence, he set them as first entourage when he was going to meet his angry brother. So whenever he's going to meet his angry brother, he sent Leah and her children to go meet with his angry brother before he shows up there. Messed up. If you force yourself on a man, he may never respect you. If he got you cheaply, he will never respect you. If you're not adding value to his life, he will never respect you. Okay. Women choose the men that they want or the men that they would like to have, right? And in our current times, there are more women than men. So your choices are really limited. And just that's just the honest truth to God. Your choices are limited because everybody wants that full, tall dude, six pack with a six figure and more salary, which have those guys are very few in numbers across all races, especially in the black community. Okay. And while women have control over sex and the womb, sex, womb, and childbearing, men control access to relationship. We are the one that make the relationship. We are the one that make the marriage or pretty much grant access to the marriage. All right. And that's what most modern folks don't understand. If you understand these little things, you know where you stand as far as looking for the right person for you. Okay. And all right, I'm gonna read this paragraph one more time. Let me click this. If you force yourself on a man, he may never respect you. If he got you cheaply, he will never respect you. If you are not adding value to his life, he will never respect you. Even after marriage, Leah had to be begging and buying the attention of her own husband. While on the other hand, Rachel, who is her younger sister, which is the industrious, beautiful woman, right, was practically in control of Jacob. In Nigerian pidgin English, we say no be jazz. No be jazz, oh, it's value. It's not magic. That's what it means. It's not magic, it's value. Jacob valued Rachel more than he valued Leah. Even Leah's own family, which is the family of Rachel, didn't even value her. They gave her away for fucking free, which is most 90% of these women out here. You guys don't have no freaking value. And even you guys do, you guys don't have no value for your potential man or your potential mate. Come with all this masculine energy, ego tripping, entitlement, goddess queen, Seymour's gold, all that crap. Let me stay on topic. Yeah. All right. Rachel was a shepherd in the midst of her siblings, a profession meant for her men. Ugh, excuse me. Rachel was a shepherd in the midst of her siblings, a profession meant for men. She was in control of her father's business. This was what glued Jacob to her. What does that little paragraph say? Rachel was valuable to her father. Men, men, especially young men looking for relationship in marriage, you need to look at the relationship between the woman that you're dealing with. You need to look the relationship between she and her father, not she and her mother, but she and her father. Look at that relationship, study that relationship very well, and you will be successful. I've dated women and I look at their moms on the way their mom behaved, and I knew the relationship was not going nowhere. I swear, alakwa, no joke. I'm not even trying to be funny. I dated this one girl. Her mother had too much masculine energy, and I just knew it was not going to work. It wasn't too long she ghosted because she couldn't even meet the low standards that I was giving her. I waited for her to quit. All right. So, men, you gotta look at the relationship that a woman has with her father. And if her father is not alive, look at the relationship she has with her brother or the men in her life. The men around her. I'm giving you germs, man. Y'all need to pay me. Y'all need to give me some money for these jewels I'm giving you. Because I'm had to make the mistake and go suffer the consequences and bring back this knowledge and share with you guys. But anyway, let's continue. Genesis chapter 29, verse 9. Jacob was still talking with them when Rachel arrived with her father's flock, for she was a shepherd. How can boys be in the house and a girl, last daughter of the house, for that matter, be the one to tend her father's flock and family business? Question mark. Industriousness. That's an industrious lady. I want to marry an industrious lady. Not that she's industrious to herself, to her job, or to her goals, but industrious to us, to both of us. I know me as a man. I know my capabilities. So I'm very, very confident in my capabilities when it comes to relationships. All right. So she said, after Jacob slept with Leah, he still went for Rachel. Damn, Jacob, man. Jacob a player, yo. And Jacob is in the Bible just smashing two sisters, and you're worried about monogamy. You're out of your damn freaking mind. 8 billion people in this world, and y'all think it's monogamy that created these 8 billion people? Damn, shit. Anyway, continuing. I just want to be comical a little bit. All right. After Jacob slept with Leah, he still went for Rachel. Sex doesn't keep a man, value does. Real talk. Leah had 5 children. Rachel had none. Yet Jacob loves Rachel more than Leah. Having children is good, but adding value is better. Wow. Let the congregation say amen. Amen. Don't ever think you can pin a man down with children. If you like, give him a nation. If you are not adding value to his life, he will walk away someday. I'm passionately pleading with our parents not to raise their daughters in the way they will become a liability to a man, which is pretty much 80 to 90%, especially in the black community. Most of these women, you guys are just potential liabilities. How am I gonna marry you, put you in the house in 2 to 3 years? You're gonna divorce me and take half of my 401k or my pension, lifetime savings. Then put me on child support because I had a child with you. That's a freaking big liability. Child support is the biggest scam in the United States. And I'll do a video about that with facts. This is one of the reasons men are really scared and men are really picky and choosy. They wait like, damn, at least if I pick her and she does me dirty, or let me just say that, or whatever, the marriage doesn't go work out well, and she takes me to the cleaners, is worth it. Men will lose on something that is worth it to them. All right. I know the most men will agree with me. But if I'm just gonna marry whoever and she's gonna do the same thing, the fuck? That's what I'm talking about. But anyway, that's where the liability comes into play. Make your daughters a shepherd before her Jacob arrives. Parents, make your daughters a shepherd before her Jacob arrives, which is Jacob stands for man, right? Give her a source of livelihood before marriage. If you want her husband to respect her, inculcate in her great morals and values. Give her quality education and not the education you get from universities or colleges. So it's the education you get from home. He that findeth a wife findeth a good thing It doesn't say that he that findeth a woman findeth a good thing. All wives are women, but not all women are wives. Remember that. Remember that. All wives are women biologically and in biblical sense. All wives are women, but not all women are wives. And just because you're married, that's not the beginning of you being a wife. The beginning of you being a wife comes from the values you that was inculcated in you by your parents or your kin, your family members. You being a wife to somebody, that's you being a wife to that person, but you're already the wife waiting to be married. You need to be a wife waiting to be married. For us men, that we need to be a husband before we can get married is to make sure that we can sustain the four P's. What are the four P's? Provide, protect, problem solving, and procreation. It's simple. System, order, and structure. That's what men provide. All right, I'm giving you guys jewels, man. All right. Make your daughter a shepherd before her Jacob arrives. Give her a source of livelihood before marriage. If you want her husband to respect her, inculcate in her great morals and values. Give her quality education and hopeful future. Don't train her merely because of the bride price you want to collect on her head. Laban, which is the father of Leah and Rachel, wasted the bride price he took for his daughter, but he lived on the flock kept by his daughter Rachel. Even after she was married out, because she was industrious, she took care of the flocks. Even when she was married out to Jacob, two of his daughters were married out to Jacob, he was still able to maintain what Leah left behind for her father because she was valuable to him. And now she only transferred that value to Jacob when she moved out and married Jacob. This is why many men fall for their ugly, hard working housemaid than their beautiful but lazy housewives. Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver. Who remember that story? Maria Shriver is a Democrat. She's a political pundit. I think she ran for office or she held office one time. I'm not sure, but she's a high-known Democrat, and she had children by Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's Republican. She's Democrat. They usually make fun on TV, whatever, whatever. I wasn't surprised when they got divorced. But what surprised me was Arnold Schwarzenegger impregnating the maid, the woman from Mexico, and he had a son with her. His son is tall like him, look like him, handsome. But the woman he made the baby with, that baby with, mm. But why is that though? Why did he decide to just hit the maid raw and risk his whole marriage? Why? There's a question to that. I don't know the answer, but I can kind of assume that he saw the value she was bringing to that house. While Maria Shriver being a political wife and doing all kinds of functions and fundraising, and she's here and she's on TV and she probably wasn't giving up the goods. And I don't want to fault her. I don't want to blame her for Arnold Schwarzenegger's infidelity, but come on, man. You don't want your husband to cheat and to his balls. I always gonna say that. You don't want your man to look at other women, or even if they look at other women, you want them to come back home to you. Make sure you're emptying his balls. I know this for a fact, man. I have no interest in other women and I'm in a full-time relationship with a woman that meets my sexual needs. That's just a fact. But anyway, who we indirectly train our housemaid to be industrious, while we train our daughters to be lazy and dependent. Whatever you invest in your daughter today, the future will tell. And the text closed up by be a value, be a value adding woman, and your man will respect you for life. And that was my mother telling me this, giving me this stuff. She didn't write this, um, because I've seen it on the internet. But that doesn't matter. It was a good advice. Value, folks. I can't stress that enough. And one of the things that people don't look for when they're choosing potential mate is, okay, I know this guy can bring value. He's a square. He might not be looking like Pookie and Ray Ray. He might not have a little bit swag. Maybe his dress is a little bit awkward. Maybe he don't make my coochie tingle. But you're not looking at the value that he's bringing. You're looking at the superficial stuff. The superficial stuff don't last. It don't freaking last. I dated girls because of superficial shit. You get tired of it. It's like buying a new freaking car. God knows I've driven a lot of cars in my lifetime. I might not have driven the expensive ones, but I've driven a lot of cars, and I get tired of them. I bought a lot of video games and shoes and clothes and things that I thought that would make me happy. And I'll buy a video game and play 4 times, and I'm done with it. I'll buy a shoe and I wear it 3 times, and I'm done with that shoe. It's not as attractive as I bought it before. Because I don't have value in these things. I'm not trying to I'm just using that as an an analogy, my analogic experience. Because I can look at a woman with tight hips and snatch waist and pretty face, and she does the Instagram pose. Sure, I've been with those kind of women, man. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even trying to joke. I've been with those kind of women. I got tired because there's no value in that. But the value that the woman that will bring into my life, and I'm not saying that the women that I've messed with, dated and ex girlfriends in the past, they brought some kind of value, but their value was tied to their conditions, and that's not the kind of value I'm looking for. They brought some value. They've added value. They changed my life in different ways. So I'm not gonna knock them on that. But they didn't. I will argue that the value was tied to some form of short-term gain. Let me don't use the word selfishness because that would be insulting. Was short-term gain. And short-term gain, long-term loss. People don't think long-term. Social media has made that the attention and validation. Attention and validation is a drug, folks. The biggest drug. It might not kill you from overdose, but besides opioids, attention and validation, you listen to people, you bring people into your relationship. I know when I'm in a relationship with somebody and I'm in a relationship with our friends and our family members, I feel that shit. Because now you started to lose your value in me because of one or two things that we could have settled, we could have compromised and communicated, walked through, but you decide to go listen to these people that you thought were giving you valuable information, and these people are single, miserable as fuck, and they want you to be miserable so they can join the club and they can feel good about themselves. Value, folks. And I can go on and on and on and on and on, and I hope one or two people can and pick the team and use it to change their life. If you're married right now, most of my friends that are married, you guys got beautiful families. Learn to value your wife, and then hopefully she values you the same. And why am I talking about this? You guys got kids. Your kids are gonna grow up in this dysfunction. Why don't you want your kids, your son and daughter, to meet people that are of value? Well, anyway, I'm gonna end this video mini series. Um, I'm gonna try to keep on pumping out some mini series. It's hard because a lot of things are taking my time, and I only have 24 hours a day, and I still got to sleep and recharge and do what I need to do to maintain my life and other things that's going on. But I'm gonna try to keep on putting out some positive videos. I'm gonna put out some realistic videos too. And I'm gonna talk about our community and what's going on in the world around us. So anyway, good night, and like your cast is out. I'll talk to you soon. I don't know when because I don't want to promise. Maybe this weekend, but we'll see. All right, and broadcast.